I want to welcome Martin Kolárik to the stage. Hello, Martin.
Hi.
Martin is a core developer at jsDelivr, and Martin's been doing some great work with us. They've partnered with us to help with he index for NPM, but I'll let Martin tell you more about it.
Thanks, Chuck. Hello. My name is Martin. I'm the lead developer at jsDelivr, and today I'm going to talk about a couple of open source projects aimed primarily at the JavaScript ecosystem. And if you have any questions during my talk, be sure to drop them down in the chat. I will do my best to address them at the end. Now, actually, let's take a look at the agenda first. So we will start by introducing jsDelivr. Then we will take a look at another open source project called Npmsearch. We will take a quick look at the inner workings of Npmsearch and some challenges that it recently faced. We will discuss recent improvements and then quick look into the future. So the first project, as I mentioned, is jsDelivr. Some of you may have already heard about it. jsDelivr is a free CDN for open source, which allows anyone to load any file published on NPM. And if the file is not published on NPM, it can even source files directly from GitHub. Some of jsDelivr's unique features include on-demand JavaScript and CSS minification, meaning that it can provide optimized files even if those are not available in the package directly. And it can also do ES module bundling more recently. The network itself is built on top of multiple providers like Cloudflare, Fastly, and a couple of others. And the list changes over time, but the key idea here is that we can provide the best performance in every location, and we can balance the traffic as needed when any of the providers is having issues. Also, thanks to this, we are not dependent on any single sponsor. Now, even though the name may suggest so, jsDelivr is not built exclusively for JavaScript. We support a number of projects from other communities, most notably Cocoa Pods, which is a dependency manager for Swift and Objective-C, and Pyodide, which is a Python runtime in the browser using WebAssembly. For the rest of this talk, though, I'm going to focus specifically on the user experience of using jsDelivr to load NPM packages, and especially on the case where you don't quite know what it is that you're looking for it. And for this case, we have a search option on our homepage. So let me actually switch the sharing here to show you our homepage now. All right, so here it is. This is our homepage, and when I scroll down a little, we've got a search input right here. So let me search for Vue, for example, and you can see that we've got very quickly a couple of results, and for each package, we've got a name, short description, some basic metadata like version, license, number of downloads here, and we can even do some more advanced filtering here. Let's say we were looking for pre-built and pre-styled collections of Vue components. We can use the styles toggle here, and now we've got packages only which include style files. So here the first one already is a set of 85 pre-styled components. And so this is really nice from the user's perspective. Let me just switch back to the slides now. Yeah, so as you might have already noticed, this is powered by Algolia, and it's a pretty standard experience if you are already familiar with their platform and search. But the less common thing here is that this data that we are searching, we don't actually own the data. Those are coming from the NPM registry, where new packages are published every minute, and so we need something that watches all these changes and updates the index in real time. And this is where the other project, Npmsearch, comes in. Npmsearch is something that Algolia built back in 2016, and that maintains the index used by our website and also other websites like Yarn, Package Manager, Code Sandbox, and a couple of other open source projects. And before we get to the technical aspects, I would like to note that not only this project itself is open source, but the live index that it creates is also available to other open source projects. So if you know any open source project that would benefit from having Npm-search like this, you can get in touch with Algolia and get access to the production instance for free. With that said, let's take a look at what the index provides. So, of course, we've got regular package metadata here, like the name, description, list of versions, keywords, etc. But then we've got also some additional pieces of information which are not included in the NPM registry itself. And we can start with the downloads of the package in the past month, also downloads using the jsDelivr CDN. Both of these statistics are also used in the package ranking to provide more relevant search results. Next, we've also got TypeScript type definition information, so we can see whether there are type definitions included directly in the package, or if there is a community-maintained package with the definitions, or if there are no definitions at all for that package. And next, we've also got two very cool fields called module types and style types. And these are really cool because they allow you to filter packages based on their contents. So let's say that you have an app which has two dedicated flows for inserting JS and CSS files, some kind of coding environment, for example. And you know that your user is in the process of inserting a CSS file. So in that case, it makes sense for you to restrict the search results only to packages which include CSS files. Okay? And this is something that we've actually seen just a while back on our website when I used the styles tool. That was using this functionality. So this is what you see from the user's perspective of the project. But how does this thing actually work? How does the data get there? So, well, first, the Npmsearch continuously pulls for changes using the npm replication API, which is essentially a publicly accessible CouchDB instance. And this contains more or less the same data as the public npm registry, except it also provides a chronological stream of all the changes. This is the important part, the chronological stream of the changes. And the other thing, it's a lot slower, which is something I will get back to in a moment. So the indexer receives the changes as they come in from the stream. But as you've seen, there are additional pieces of information that are not present in the npm registry, and those are coming in from the different systems, like the npm downloads API, jsDelivr API, and for changelogs, we also need to query GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket occasionally. So the project needs to query all these sources first, and only then the final document is built and can be pushed to the Algolia servers. And the goal is for all of this to happen as quickly as possible, because ideally we want to be no more than a few minutes behind the official npm registry. So we want the changes to be visible quickly. Now, what could go wrong here? Well, let's start by looking at some background. First, the npm registry currently holds about 2.5 million of packages, and about 15 updates are published every minute. When starting from scratch, the indexer needs to make several HTTP requests for each package. And furthermore, some of the data change over time. So we actually need to refresh the data for all packages because, for example, number of downloads changes over time, and we want the value to be reasonably up to date. Given the amount of packages and requests, obviously we would like to parallelize this process as much as possible. But another problem is that the replication API, which, as I mentioned, is the primary source of the data, is often slow, overloaded, at times entirely unavailable, which hinders our ability to make more than just a few requests at a time. Also, the npm downloads API performs better, but still has strict rate limits. And the other services that we need to query have very strict rate limits as well. Additionally, while handling the concurrent processing, rate limits, and retries caused by these limitations, we need to guarantee two very important properties: fault tolerance and consistency. By fault tolerance here, we mean that if any of the external services or our servers ourselves are having issues, it should not result in packages being dropped forever. It is of course acceptable if the indexing gets delayed a little bit, but eventually as the services come back up, all the packages that were published during that time must end up in the index. Consistency here means that if there are multiple changes for the same package published quickly one after another, then we must process them in the correct order, because at the end, we need to match the state of the official NPM registry. And this can get quite tricky when you consider the concurrent processing and the retries, and that you need to keep the order of the changes. And now, some of these requirements were accounted for in the project's design from the beginning, others were not. Also, some people who originally built the project no longer had time to work on it or even switch companies in the recent years, which is why the project was left in close to unmaintained state for some time. And as a result, it came to face more and more issues over time, which resulted in significant indexing delays, causing our website to show outdated information or missing packages. And this had quickly became a frequent complaint from our users. And since we are one of the biggest users of the index and also contributed some features in the past, we decided to step up and offer our help. After analyzing the situation, we started working on a significant overhaul of the whole system, and together with Algolia, we managed to push it live in October. And well, it was no easy task because on one hand, we could not pinpoint a single specific cause of the problems. But on the other hand, it was clear that there are many edge cases which could result in packages getting lost or the process getting stuck. It also was not clear entirely how big of a role the unreliability of the external system plays. So we eventually decided to rework the whole architecture based on our understanding of the current issues and also based on the experience of the previous project developers. And I'm very happy to say that the changes we have made so far bring considerable reliability improvements, mostly thanks to breaking the process up into several independent pipelines. We've also made the whole indexing faster by reducing outgoing HTTP requests in some cases, and also by being able to reuse the data that we already have in some cases. And we've also improved the results ranking a bit by using jsDelivr download statistics in the detection of popular packages. And I'm not going to go into more technical details here, but we summarized those in a blog post already, which is linked here, and we'll give the link in the chat as well. So if you are interested in that, you can read it later. And right now, I would like to just say thanks to Algolia for being open to this collaboration. And I'm very happy that we've already managed to bring in so many improvements because they don't only help our own website, but also all the other open source projects that use the same index. Going forward, we agreed to support the project together as co-maintainers, with each of us having access to all of the important components, such as the repository, production servers, monitoring, and so on. And I'm excited that this will allow us make further improvements in the future and fix any issues that may arise faster than before. Right now, we are actually working on further improving the ranking rules for even better search results, and I believe that we will be able to get that live soon. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this talk. If you would like to learn more about the search project, definitely check out the repository linked here. If you know any service or tool that would benefit from Npm-search, definitely get in touch. And if you have any questions for me, go ahead and ask now. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much, Martin, for this wonderful presentation. And I love this. I really wanted you to come and speak at this DevBit for two reasons. One, I love the partnership here, right? This is something that Algolians built a while back. And, frankly, with all of the other things going on, it was challenging to maintain. It was really great to see jsDelivr step up and say, you know what, this is valuable to us. This is valuable to the community, and to take it on. I want to do a quick shout out to Tim Carey on our DA team, who I think was kind of the one who coordinated with you and sort of worked with you all to sort of build this. But I also think just the narrative as itself is interesting. You said 2.5 million packages. Was it 15 updates? Was it
per minute? Yeah.
Per minute, 15 updates per minute. So this is a really great example of sort of building an index at scale and sort of kind of trying to maintain all of that, which I really like to see kind of the narrative of it. And you said that you kind of go into more detail in your blog post as well, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I do have a couple questions coming in. The first one is, do you have any plans to enrich the records in any way with additional data from external resources?
I think there are some issues about that. Like people would like to see, for example, GitHub stars or GitHub watchers. The problem there is that, again, we would be hitting more of the API limits. So like we can add data that are useful, but it must be from a source that let us actually make so many requests that we can reasonably index it. Yeah, so there's this issue.
That makes sense. So kind of trying to keep it as clean as possible. Just
yeah.
Okay. And another question, I love this question, is how can someone gain access to this index if they wanted to build on top of it?
So I would like to build an application, something that's going to be open source and useful for the community. You will find the contact information in the README, where you can email there, and if the application meets the criteria that it's useful for the community, then you will get API access and you can just use it directly.
Yeah, I'm already thinking like there's just so many interesting things you could do. You could do a chat-based interface, right? Direct integrations into IDEs. There's so many ways that you could leverage an index like this.
Yeah, we actually do use this in several IDE integrations as well that we have.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. And I guess that's another piece of it too, right? So you could interact directly with the index, but also jsDelivr kind of gives you a nice layer on top of if you wanted some of the other packages and things like that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. I think we're kind of coming up close to the end of our time. We don't have any other questions. So then I'm going to ask you a question, which is, what is the first secret word needed to get to the swag store?
The first secret word is super, as in super fast CDN.
Super. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Martin. And thanks to jsDelivr for being a great community member. Really appreciate it.
Thank you as well.
Take care. Happy holidays.